Well, our final three events are events that'll be swum for the very first time at the Southeast Asian Games. Just one bronze and win. So 30 laps up and down the pool. Not going to see a lot of the ankles being used for the early stages. Just a nice and easy rhythm to ensure that it's way ahead. But what a start that was from Paphomphach Wongnayak of Thailand. When you're on the outside lanes, perhaps that's where you need to do it, especially for the early stages of this race. He turns in first place and he's almost 3 seconds ahead of his compatriot Surabordi Sangkiao. As I said, if you're on the outside lanes, because when they start kicking and when they go giddy up with those strokes in the middle of this race, and in lanes 4 and 5 start making those waves, those wakes can go right into your lane and create real havoc for you. And that's where your breathing technique will come into question, and you're not able to sustain the synchronicity and the rhythm of it all. So very important that you get off to a very good start and try to take the lead as much as possible in the early stages, which Paphomphach Wongnayak has done, racing all by himself. Doesn't have anyone in the lanes 2 and 3 for him to lay down a marker on, but I guess he knew all along that he was going to be racing his own race in the early stages of this. And even with competitors from Cambodia and Indonesia who were slated to swim beside him in lanes 2 and 3, he would have done the same as well, just to ensure that those wakes do not disturb his cadence. And after 200 meters, he is still in the lead, the 18-year-old. Surely he's gone off a little too quickly. And it's a little disruptive in terms of the turn and streamline as well, but did well enough to make full use of that 15 meters. The Vietnamese Kiet Kim Anh from Quan Doi was second at the national championships, where he lost to a compatriot who was just 15 years of age. I think that probably has a sensing that the Thai is doing pretty well on the other side, because it's a very quiet atmosphere here at the Median Aquatic Center. They can't believe the start that Paphomphach has made from Thailand, almost 3 seconds ahead of Kiet, and now they start making the noise because the lead is being sliced into, and they realize it as well when Thien Dat of Vietnam is in third position for the moment, and after a very good start, Surabordi is in fourth position, just outside of the medals, but it's his compatriot who is taking the race and slapping those walls with a monofin in fine fashion. The lead has been trimmed though over the last 50 meters, and Kiet has been clocking sub 26 over the last 50 meters, so he's certainly picking up in terms of the speed and the hip flexion, using a lot more of it, as you can see in lane number 4 then, as opposed to his Thai compatriot, who just seems to be gassing and tiring out. And that lead is now just a body length, as Thailand's Paphomphach still turns first. Well, that lead that was at 3 seconds at one stage has now dipped to just slightly less than 60 seconds. In fact, if anything, after this leg, the Vietnamese probably will be in the lead. He's slowly inching and moving ahead right now of Paphomphach, who has gone out way too early and way too fast in his first 300 meters. Good swim this, and very well judged by Kim Anh, who turns in first position, and now almost a second, more than a second ahead of Paphomphach, who only came back with a 27.88, sub 26 on the way back from Kiet Kim Anh in the 1500 meters freestyle. And the Thai, who was clocking sub 26 in his first 200 meters, has now gone beyond 27 seconds for his last 100. That's attacking the wall so very well. 25.63, once again sub 26. That's high 27s from Paphomphach. That's not a very good sign for the 18-year-old Thai, who seems to be gassing out with a lot more still to come. Did somebody tell him it's the 1500 and not the 800, I hope? And it's at the moment almost ceding half of pool length now to Kiet Kim Anh. Just above 26 seconds for that split, 4:16.35, and that is more than 5 seconds ahead of Paphomphach, who was leading by more than 3 seconds after the first 200 meters of this race. See from the snorkel there, just popping out how smooth the strokes are for the Vietnamese Kiet Kim Anh. Took it nice and easy for the first 200, and then used a lot of that hip flexion, a lot more of it. There we see. You're not going to see those splashes just yet, as they say for it. Just need to get into that rhythm. And he found his rhythm halfway through after the first 100 meters, and then it looked pretty smooth from there on. Kiet Kim Anh is going to extend that lead, and another sub 26 seconds for the last 50. Another 900 meters to go, and this looks very comfortable for the Vietnamese, primed for the Southeast Asian Games gold medal, that's for sure. Phapon Chai is really losing a lot of speed at the moment and a lot of rhythm in his stroke. Definitely can't get those core muscles going the same way he did in the opening stages of this race. Just past 26 seconds, 5:33.86 after 650 meters is a very quick time for Kiet Kim Anh, and hopefully he doesn't go out too quick as well in trying to liven up the crowd here, who are cheering almost every snap of the wall with that monofin of Kim Anh. Still moving with so much rhythm and so much ease as well. Around about 70 strokes per minute with that down kick of his, and it has been pretty consistent as well. So a lot of it to minimize the resistance from the frontal surface, and that's the reason why lane number 1 went out very quickly, because the resistance from the frontal surface from the waves created by lane number 4 would be massive halfway through that race. They almost cross each other at the 15-meter mark after the turn, and the lead now is pretty massive. There's only going to be one winner here, and he's almost looks as if he's enjoying his Saturday swim at the Median Aquatic Center. Kiet Kim Anh of Vietnam, with another 700 meters to go. Those times, no more sub 26, getting into the mid 26, but still extending the lead over Phapongpach Wongaek of Thailand. Is doing well enough to hold off the other Vietnamese for silver medal position, and he's almost going to lap swimmer from lane number 7, Akiva Jose Carino of the Philippines, and I'm sure he will after this lap. At least that was a low 26-second swim for the 50 meters for Kim Anh. They are calculating and counting those strokes per minute in terms of those kicks underwater, I can assure you of that. There we go, low 26 again. And this is where he will lap the Filipino Akiva Jose Carino, and maybe even go after Surabordi Sangkiao of Thailand as well. This is just perfect synchronization. So good to watch. You talk about those superheroes, and if you love watching those mammals swimming in the ocean, you would love this as well, because this is as good as it gets when it comes to fin swimming, long distance fin swimming and these surface events. Still around about 71 strokes per minute on the down kick from Kiet Kim Anh. You just feel there's a lot in reserve for the Vietnamese. Just a little labor then off the wall, not using the full 15 meters, but once he gets into the middle of the pool, that's where the rhythm comes right back in. It's been that case, and there's only one winner in this event. Let's see how he turns from there. That's not the quickest of laps as we'd expect after watching that turn. A much better turn this time in terms of the breakout and getting into that rhythm. Certainly felt the streamline and felt the power of the ankles going into those monofins to get him going. This will be a much faster lap than the 26.3, I'm sure, unless he doesn't attack the wall the same way that he did earlier on. And attack the wall he certainly does, and it is a lot quicker. Low 26, 26.09, 9:30.25 is still a very quick time with 400 meters remaining. Phapongpach of Thailand still doing well to maintain that second position as we see them cross yet again. If anything else, the Thai is beginning to pick up speed again from where he left off after the first 200, where he went off like a house on fire. So turning with 350 meters remaining, 26.39. It's not too strong with those laps going forward, but certainly coming home, these 50s have been very quick, and he's found a certain sense of cadence whenever he turns for home. And this is where those strong ankles of Kiet Kim Anh will start being engaged and put to good use into the final 200 meters of this race. Another 300 meters to go. Won't see those ankle kicks come out furiously just yet. And a sub 26-second swim. Well, we told you whenever he comes home in that 50 meters lap, he's a lot quicker than he is going there to the other end of the pool. Vietnam in third position at the moment, Nguyen Thien Dat, who might be passed and lapped by Kim Anh, 26.15. That's his quickest 50 going there in a while. And then coming back, he's been clocking low 26 and sub 26 seconds. So this looks another one, because that stroke and that rhythm looks very, very smooth indeed. The streamline of the wall is so very good. He's almost going to touch the wall at the same time as his Vietnamese, who is in third position, 26.40. And this is where his ankles take shape. And he will start using that monofin a lot more. If anything else, that middle part of the race was where he gave maybe a lot more than he expected, and the fuels just run out a bit. But 150 remaining for Kiet Kim Anh, 25.43. Well, we did tell you that those ankles will be used a lot more. A little rusty with that turn then, not the best of which. But once again, the moment he comes out of it, and sometimes when the streamline's not as perfect as he'd like it to be, he just finds that rhythm and gets into it almost instantaneously, which is fantastic to watch. Final 100 meters. In the 1400, surprised you don't hear a bell there. Usually they would, but and this is where the legs start kicking in. You see a lot more splashes now from the monofin, and he will be going for it. The hip flexion taking a lot more now, using a lot more of the hips, and he did in the opening part of the race, and he really attacked the wall that time. He wants to come home strong, and he's going to overtake the Thai as well, who was leading after 200 meters, Paphonpach. Big, strong finish now for Kiet Kim Anh. This is a magnificent swim. The hip flexion taking full effect. And look at those hips just propel, the maximum propulsion, getting through the waters, generating the waves. 12:52.45. Underneath SEA Games record for Kiet Kim Anh, a gold medalist. Judged that swim perfectly. Didn't have to go out fast enough. Was very quick. Between meters 400 to 800, and then saved that last bout of energy for the final 100. Paphonpach of Thailand, on your top of your screen, will come home for the silver medal, having gone out so very quickly and looked so very impressive in the first 200 meters. You knew he couldn't contain and hold that pace, because he had to go out quick in order to avoid the wake that was coming in from lane number 4. Well, he did his job, and that early lead has given him enough room to ensure that silver medal will be his. Well touched home. Good time as well, 13:47.63, a new national record for Paphonpach Wongaek. And then Vietnam's Nguyen Thien Dat will come home for the bronze medal. Just about heading home now, and he will be in shot pretty soon in his final 25 with his teammate egging him on just to pump that hips a little bit more and give himself that extra ounce and bit of energy to slice through that water in the final 50. Nguyen Thien Dat with a time of 14:09.49. Wonderful moments here for the Vietnamese. Well, Kiet Kim Anh had to wait a good second for his teammates to come home before they could discuss the race and congratulate one another. Sorabordi Sangkiao who also went up quickly in the first 50 meters, touches home in 4th position. And I believe Akiva Jose Carino should be touching home right now. Oh, has he got another lap to go? No, he's just touched home. So well done indeed to Akiva Jose Santiago Carino. Nice to see the swimmers getting their fins wet for the long distance races at these 31st Southeast Asian Games. And another record downed and another gold medal for Vietnam, Kiet Kim Anh.